I held my wife's hand for 48 years. I rubbed her knuckles every night before bed. I told her I loved her every single morning. I thought she was happy. I truly, honestly believed we were perfect. But with her last breath, she whispered 6 words that destroyed everything I believed about our marriage, about myself, about the man I thought I was. I'm 79 years old, and I need to tell you what those 6 words were before it's too late for you. But first, you need to understand how I got there, because this story doesn't start in a hospital room. It starts with a young man who thought he had it all figured out. I met Margaret in the summer of 1974. I was 27. She was 23. She had this laugh that made everybody in the room turn around and smile. Not a quiet laugh, a real one, the kind that fills the kitchen. I proposed after 11 months. People told me it was too fast, but I didn't care. I knew, or at least I thought I knew. We bought a small house on Elm Street with a yellow door, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and a backyard barely big enough for a dog. But to us, that was a castle. And for the first few years, it was beautiful. Saturday mornings making pancakes, dancing in the living room to Fleetwood Mac. She would rest her head on my shoulder, and the whole world just stopped. But here's where the story changes. Because life doesn't stay in that living room forever, does it? My career started taking off. I was in sales, commercial real estate, and I was good at it. Every quarter, my numbers climbed. Every year, another promotion. My boss told me I was heading straight for the top, and I believed him. Therefore, I started leaving earlier. Coming home later, Saturdays became client meetings. Sundays became catching up on paperwork. I told Margaret it was for us. I told her I was building something, a future, a legacy. She nodded. She always nodded. But here's what I didn't see, and I need you to hear this carefully, because this is the part that will cost you if you're not paying attention. Every time I came home late, Margaret had already eaten alone. The plate she made for me was sitting on the counter, covered with foil, cold, every single night, cold food wrapped in foil. I never once asked her what it felt like to eat alone in a quiet house. Not once. You want to know what the most dangerous lie in marriage is? It's this: she understands. I kept telling myself she understood. She understood the long hours. She understood the missed dinners. She understood the trips. She understood the silence. But understanding is not the same as acceptance. And acceptance is not the same as happiness. I confused all three. For decades, our daughter Emily was born in 1979. Our son David, 2 years later, and I was proud. I was the provider. I put a roof over their heads, food on their table, shoes on their feet. But let me ask you something that haunts me now. Do you know what my daughter's favorite book was when she was 7? I don't. Do you know what my son's first words were? Margaret told me once. I forgot. I actually forgot my son's first words because I wasn't there. I was in a conference room in Dallas, closing a deal worth $200,000. I remember that number perfectly. But my son's first words? Gone. I traded moments that can never come back for numbers on a spreadsheet that meant nothing a year later. But it gets worse. And I'm not telling you this to make you feel sorry for me. I'm telling you because you might be doing the same thing right now and you don't even realize it. The years blurred together. The kids grew up. They left. And suddenly it was just me and Margaret again, like the beginning, but different, very different. The house was quiet now, but not the peaceful kind of quiet, the empty kind, the kind where you can hear the clock ticking from 2 rooms away. I'd sit across from her at dinner and I'd notice something I never noticed before. She smiled at me, but her eyes didn't match. Her mouth moved, but something behind it had gone still, like a light dimming so slowly that you don't notice until you're sitting in the dark. I should have asked her, "Are you okay? Are you really okay?" But I didn't. You want to know why? Because I was afraid of the answer. That's the truth. Not that I was busy, not that I forgot. I was afraid, afraid that if I really asked, she would tell me something I wasn't ready to hear. Therefore, I kept pretending. And she kept pretending. And we both sat in that house pretending for years that the silence between us was just comfortable. But silence isn't always peace. Sometimes silence is a scream that no one bothered to listen to. Margaret got sick in February of 2019, pancreatic cancer. The doctors gave her 8 months. She lasted 11. She was always stubborn like that. I quit everything the day she was diagnosed, closed my business, canceled every meeting, sat in that hospital room every single day, held her hand, read to her, brought her flowers even when she couldn't smell them anymore. And I thought, maybe this is my chance. Maybe I can make up for all those years. Maybe if I'm here now, she'll know. She'll know that she was the most important thing in my life. But here's the part that breaks me. You can't compress 30 years of absence into 11 months of presence. It doesn't work like that. Time doesn't negotiate. You can't trade the end for the middle. The middle is where life happens. The middle is where she needed me, and I wasn't there. The last night was quiet. October 14th, 2019. The machines were humming. Her breathing was shallow, thin, like paper tearing slowly. I was holding her left hand, the same hand I held on our wedding day. She opened her eyes, and for a moment I saw her, not the sick version, her, the woman who laughed in kitchens, the woman with the yellow door. She looked at me, and in a voice barely louder than a whisper, she said, 6 words. I was so lonely with you. 6 words. 6 small, ordinary words. But they hit me like a car crash in slow motion. My chest caved in. My hands went cold. The room started spinning. Not I love you, not thank you for being here, not take care of the kids. I was so lonely with you, with me, not without me, with me. She was lonelier sitting across the table from me every night than she ever would have been alone. I was there, but I was never present. She closed her eyes after that. She didn't open them again. I sat in that chair for 3 hours after she passed. I didn't cry. I couldn't. I just kept hearing those 6 words over and over, echoing in that sterile white room like a verdict I couldn't appeal. I drove home that night to an empty house. Her reading glasses were still on the kitchen table, her coffee mug from that morning, half full, stone cold. A crossword puzzle she never finished. 7 across was blank. And I realized, sitting in that kitchen at 2 in the morning, I had spent 50 years building a life, and the only person who mattered in it had spent most of it feeling invisible. That was 3 years ago. I don't tell you this story so you feel sorry for me. I told you I don't want your sympathy. I want your attention for just these few minutes. Because if you are watching this right now and there is someone in your life who eats dinner alone while waiting for you, put down whatever you're doing. Go sit with them, not with your phone, not with your laptop, not with your mind somewhere else. Actually sit with them. Ask them how they feel. And when they answer, actually listen. Don't wait for 6 words in a hospital room to wake you up because mine came too late. The woman I loved most in this world used her final breath to tell me she was lonely. Not because I left her, but because I was right there and still managed to be gone. You are not too busy. You are not too important. You are not doing it for them. You are doing it for you. And the person sitting across from you at dinner right now, they know it. They've always known it. They're just waiting to see if you'll figure it out before the foil on the plate gets cold for the last time. I'm 79 years old. I have lived long enough to understand one thing clearly. The greatest tragedy in life is not dying alone. It is living your entire life next to someone and making them feel alone. Don't let that be your story, please.